All right, guys, I am going to be talking to you guys today about Erika Kirk, and she killed it yesterday. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, she absolutely knocked this out of the park, and I I both hate it and I love it. Um, first off, I got to start over. The reason why I am doing these podcasts rapid fire, like just shooting them out there as quick as I can, is because I have been posting a lot of political stuff lately. And I feel like if my face is not out there showing you who I really am, the context is missed, and you are thinking that I am angry, mad, stuck in my ways, upset, frustrated. And some of these things I am, but I am not so frustrated that I don't want to be open to criticism, pushback, but I want you to see a real human. I want you to hear and see me, because ultimately I do want the best for everybody. And it hurts me a lot when I see family members, my own family members, going through my arguments I'm having with other people in the comments and liking not very nice things that these people are attacking me for. Um, like one of my cousins, I'll call them out. I'll call you guys out. But one of my cousins liked this thing that said I have white fragility. Like, what? I've never once gone and liked anything of any of my family members claiming that there's something about them that they can't handle. I love my family members. I've always wanted to be with my family members. I've always looked up to many of my family members, my cousins. I've always been jealous of them. I have been extremely jealous of the entire side of my mom's family. Like, I've always been jealous of my mom's family. They're more they just get a lot of praise in social circles. Maybe just from my mom, I don't know. But and or they're a lot funnier, or they're a lot more, they would have let us do a lot of like it's very funny. It's just the people that are listening that are my family, they know what I'm talking about. And I want the best for all of them. I want the best for every single one of them. I want them all to know the possibilities that are out there. And I know that me is an example and how I've lived my life and how things have not gone very well for me, probably is their biggest piece of evidence to say, well, what Drew wants doesn't work, you know. And that's an insecurity I have. I know that just crushes me, that I really want these things, but I never seem to get them, or it tends to make things worse for me having these ambitions and these thoughts. And this leads me to Erika Kirk today. I was going to talk about free speech. I was going to talk about this stuff going on with Jimmy Kimmel. But man, I've never seen anything like I've seen. I watched that memorial all day long. Me and my mom watched it. We were supposed to be working on my house, but we had to watch this whole thing. It was crazy. Yeah, I know that sounds nuts, but I have never seen anything like this before in my life. I have never seen. It's like when you watch something, you're hoping, any political figure, Trump, everybody, there's certain things that you hope that they say to make them sound better, to make them more acceptable, to make it easier to essentially be represented by them, right? You're always a little nervous what people are going to say, and if you've already associated, well, that's the guy I'm going to vote for, or that's the guy I believe in. You're just always nervous about that, what they're going to say to make you look bad, essentially. But there's another side to this. You're also really worried about being compared. I struggle with my faith a ton because I know how much of a hypocrite, I know how much of a sinner, I know how broken I am. So it's very hard for me to claim be a Christian and have the feelings I have, feelings of hatred, feelings of anger, feelings of frustration, feelings of righteousness, like of justice, of feeling like I am better than other people. And the times that I just flat out want to seek comfort, or which is oftentimes sin, right? I want to avoid the hard things. I want to avoid denying myself. And I will chase things that are not what God wants me to chase. I think we all know what that could possibly be. And I'm guilty. I have had a lot of struggle and strife with talking publicly about these types of values, because I know that I, more than ever, have been not one to perpetuate them. My divorce absolutely wrecked my self-identity, and I went to this place of, well, screw it. I'm already going to hell. Like, as long as I don't hurt others, I should just do what feels good, right? So it's been really difficult for me to pursue this faith stuff. I can't even sit in church because I have such an issue. If I am not authentically feeling it, if I am not truly pursuing that lifestyle, how dare I sit in a church? I don't feel like that's the honest thing. Even on my dad's death day, his anniversary, which happened to fall on Easter this last year, 420, I only sat through half the service and I had to get up and walk out. Couldn't do it. My mom was sitting there crying. My brother was there. My brother can sit through it. I can't. Because I tried to live that life and I tried to be that way, and I failed in every way, with my marriage failing. Like, at first, I struggled with my faith when my dad died, but I really struggle with my faith when I'm the one signing divorce documents to essentially avoid bankruptcy and to refinance a financial mess that absolutely wrecked me and has still plagued me to this day, and I'm still very bitter about. Very bitter about. And I keep telling you guys that I was going to put out this podcast about where I've been and what I've been going on, and I look back now, I can't put it out. I can't put it out because the day I recorded it and the stuff I said in it, it was the day after I found out my ex-wife was getting married in November. And the next morning when I recorded it was the day that Charlie got shot. And I essentially spent an hour and a half talking about what happened, and I admit to a lot of my wrongs, but the first 12 minutes of it, or 7 minutes of it, it paints her in not such a great light. And I felt righteous in saying the things I said about her. I clearly have not forgiven her. And I clearly, even more so, have not forgiven myself. I have different views now. I think that no matter what, it doesn't matter what happens, two people should not get divorced. It doesn't matter if you're going to be getting into bankruptcy, if you're going to be going through a ton of marriage therapy or whatever. It doesn't matter if somebody cheated. I feel now that love and forgiveness and grace, like how Christ loved the church, if you decide to get married, you have to exhibit that, and that's the only way. If your marriage starts to fail, if somebody steps out on the other one, the only way you honor yourself and you honor that partner is you stay with them. I know this is super controversial. I know that there's super unhealthy marriages out there. I know that there's violence and things like that involved. And that is why it's so important that we do not take lightly who we choose to marry. We have to be much more disciplined, much more reserved. We have to be very, very selective in choosing our life partner who comes second to God. Now, I'm not saying I live any of this stuff. I'm not saying that I did it right. I'm not saying I'm doing it right now. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that in the ideal, if you're to follow these beliefs, this is what you have to do. And it will be, I think, very rewarding. Because I see the conviction and I see the love that Charlie and Erika had, still have. And like, for all of it to work, you truly have to believe that there is somebody higher and greater power than you. And you need to make sure that you do everything you can to not make it about you and your happiness. You need to lay down your life. And maybe I'm speaking only to men, but if you're in a relationship like that, you need to lay down your life for your wife. And I love this. Okay, so Erika brings this stuff up, right? She puts out this challenge. And I've always struggled with my relationships with women. And so this is something that I really have to do some soul searching on. But I think that this call is the correct call. And it means that change in this country starts with men first. Men need to take the lead, be the example. They need to find a place in their heart so that they can serve their wife and lead at the same time. And Erika just does it so well. So let me bring this up. We're going to play this really quick.
Never before have I found as much comfort as I now do in the words of our Lord's Prayer, "Thy will be done."
So here she's talking a little bit about when she heard Charlie first commit to God's will, and Isaiah 6:8. But it's this challenge that I think is so incredible. And I mean, her forgiving Charlie's killer also, absolutely. This is not to be overdone, but I'm talking about going forward, how this country heals. And this woman, I think, is probably one of the most powerful women in the world right now. I will tell you that. And I would follow her. I'd listen. I would absolutely follow this gal. Like, I'd go sign up, figure out how to do open debates on campuses. I'd go do all of that stuff if I was the right person to do it. But I think she nailed this. She nailed this with grace. She nailed this with seriousness. She nailed this in every way possible. People are saying that this is fake, made up, not real. Nobody forgives their killer. This is all for optics. That's fine if you want to, if you think that. But I'd like to believe that it's real. I'd like to believe that this is very much real, and I like to believe that this is one of the best representations of true love and grace on earth that I've ever seen in my life. So I got to find this spot where she's calling men to the table, essentially. See if we can find it here.
Most important ministry you have.
Yeah, I think this is it right here. So she talks about women, and the most important ministry is her taking care of, is women have is taking care of their kids, if they have kids. Come on, let's see this thing. It's so good. Wish I would have
He
found
would
it
see in this country. We saw revival. This past week, we saw people open a Bible for the first time in a decade. We saw people pray for the first time since they were children. We saw people go to a church service for the first time in their entire lives.
I just want to make it a point. I think a lot of people are thinking that this is just one big political rally. And there's a couple speakers that tried to make it seem like that. This Jack Passo guy, not a huge fan, okay? Gets really fired up. Because he's not in a place of justice, of like somebody that actually, has some political standing. I think the people that have political standing rightfully call out and go after on a political stage, call for justice, right? Stephen Miller did this. Vance did this. But really, the point of this whole thing, the point of this, the turning point in USA is a turn back to Christianity. Specifically, Jesus Christ's values, what he lived and died for. And that is the whole point of this thing. This thing was a church service. People thought they were tuning into a political rally, and Turning Point did such a wonderful job making sure that it was 90% church service, and a couple people went up there and did their political stumping speeches. But really, for the most part, I've never heard Jesus Christ said so many times in my life. I've never heard so many people standing up and clapping and crying when forgiveness is mentioned, when the leader, the person that has every right to literally pick up a stone and stone her husband's killer 10 days away from the assassination, is forgiving him. Now, you can say, well, she's playing it up for political points, blah, blah, blah. You can say all that. We've discussed it. I don't want to believe that. I don't think that's true. I think that the way that she balances this speech and how she doesn't try to go and get more people voting for a certain policy or politician, she's literally just saying, have a personal conversation with Christ and accept that he is the best forgiver, the most grace-filled being, and that right there will change you. Nobody makes money from that. She's not pointing to any certain church. She's not taking this and putting this. I can't find a way that they're spinning this. They're not saying to sign up more. They are getting more people that want to start chapters, but she is not pointing this to any one thing that makes money from this. Does that make sense? I hope it does, because it's probably the best representation of Christ's forgiveness and grace and love that we may see. And it's crazy it's coming from a widow. Okay? The left is famous for saying, hell hath no fury like a scorned woman, or something like that. And it's almost like a calling card or a thing that just allows women to be absolutely irrational and so rage-filled. It's like it's just a hall pass for that kind of behavior. This is not what this is. That Erika Kirk gets up here and talks about her husband, how he was the leading portion of their family, how she's older than him, by the way, how she submitted to him, she loved him, she was his vault, she was his encourager, she was his main, like, everything. She was his helper. She was his main helper. She was not his servant, his slave, his employee, nothing. Okay? This is a woman that's also very educated, has, from what I read, she played basketball, which is not the most ladylike thing. We're not calling for trad women here. This is not the trad or trad wife thing. That's not what this is at all. This gal had her own business. She's a couple years older than Charlie. She has one PhD, if not two. I think she's going to get an honorary degree. She's gone to college. She's very well educated. She's more educated than Charlie, if you count it by degrees and credits. This is like the epitome of what a feminist would want to see if she wasn't associated with Charlie Kirk. It's the epitome of that, okay? And here I am, just vomiting my praises, or her praises, all over this mic. And I'm saying that the one woman that has every right to be irrational, upset, screaming, she's the one that I think is going to change my life for what she said here, more than Charlie did, more than anybody does. Because she finally says the one thing that a lot of young men need to hear, and that is, if you want the kind of love and you want the kind of life that Charlie had, this is how Charlie lived. And this is how I supported him doing it. And this is what he did to make sure I felt like I was heard and seen, and I could be the best I wanted to be. And that made me want to make sure that he was the best he was ever going to be. And like, I've been looking forever. Show me a couple that I can look up to. Show me somebody that I can, and sadly it had to be somebody that died. Okay? This couple's no more. He's been reunited with his maker, the leader of this couple. And I mean, I looked everywhere. I looked at Alex and Layla Hermosi. I looked at Chip and Joanna Gaines. I looked in my local church. I looked all over the place. And I think that these are actually a lot more prevalent in local churches and in your local circles and your communities. There are these examples, but they're not near as battle-tested or battle-worn or tried, probably as much as Charlie and Erika were tried. You think about how much this guy was on the road. How did they keep their marriage together? She talks about this. Love notes. You think about how tried and true this marriage was. They're both good-looking people. They both have success. Imagine the temptations thrown at these guys. Imagine the temptations. I bet, and Charlie's surrounded by beautiful assistants. Erika is gorgeous herself. I'm sure that, there is, I'm telling you, they made it look easy, and I know for a fact it was not. And I know that with the amount of content that gets put out about Charlie and the amount of vitriol about Charlie and the amount of people that hate him, I know that they were tried. And if there was something about this relationship that was not correct, it'd been dug up and found. It'd been spewed all over the place. It would have been... That's all I can say about that. Who knows? Maybe we'll find out that there's something going on here. But I highly doubt it, and I don't even want to speak words to make that be a possibility. I'm just telling you that if you're looking for a godly relationship on earth, and you're looking for a woman that calls you to be the best you can be, but also accepts you for who you are, there's no better example, I think, than this person. And unless you already have that person. If you already have that person, then there's probably no better than that person. You know it. You know it. I saw this post on Twitter. You guys will probably just have to go watch this portion where she calls men out to the table and then explains a man's role and what men need to be doing in this country. And then she goes and talks about what women are to men and how they should be treated, and that men need to be something worthy to follow, and men need to serve their wives, but women need to be their absolute best advisors, need to be the best encouragers, need to be the peace for that man, need to make sure that there's a place that Charlie wants to come back to, that all men want to come back to. I'm feeling a little bit of this, man. I am. In my personal life, I think in only the recent months, I have been feeling this. For maybe actually it might even be the recent weeks for somebody. And that they have exemplified a lot of these traits that Erika has. So that's why I'm speaking on it so powerfully, because it seems like a certain type of grace that I never felt. And it's crazy to have it come at the time that this is coming. So, continuing on with this conversation, what I was going to say about this call to action for men that she's talking about here is totally lost it. Totally got sidetracked a little bit. I think that men need to have purpose. We need to have structure. We need to have discipline, self-restraint. We need to show these values. But most of all, we need to be willing to accept grace. There's a possibility that you are in a situation where you're not ready for a relationship, but someone is giving you glimpses into what one could be. And I'm telling you, you have to get better. Like Erika called for here, men, you have to be better. It starts here. I can only speak to men. And if you choose correctly your spouse, you'll never regret forgiveness and grace. You'll never forget giving that. You'll never forget or regret having patience, being kind, going out of your way to pick up her favorite latte. You will never regret those things. And if you perform in that way and you've chosen correctly, it will be reflected. It will be brought back to you. It will be shown, because women, like Erika says here, women will answer the call. And I really think that this is what will save this nation, is men being gentlemen first, and women recognizing that it's better to be in a life with a man than it is to be alone. And men that are in relationship with God will often yield the most fruitful lives. And I think it'll be self-evident. I really think it'll be self-evident. I'm struggling with it. I'm still afraid to give up certain portions of my life. And I think that's why this is so moving to me. It comes from a very selfish thing. I want to be in a relationship that Charlie and Erika had. I want to have the influence that they have. I want to have the infallibility that they have. I want to be as powerful in those senses, to be looked on with as much respect as I look upon them. I want those things. And that means I have to be a better person. I have to live to the values and the standards that they are. And honestly, that means I have to die to myself. And I've heard these words. I've been in the Bible studies. I've been in the groups. I've been in the places they say to go to get better. And I felt like when I was in the middle of them, I was not getting the help I wanted or needed. And ultimately, I got bitter. And that's why my first marriage fell apart. So this is a very tough topic for me. It means I have to make some changes in my life. It means that I have to perform better. It means that I have to relinquish control. And I have to learn how to have a loving relationship with my Maker if I ever want to try to share that same relationship with someone else. I think there's no other place I'm probably going to learn the kind of unearthly grace and love, the love and grace that we wouldn't have down here. We wouldn't understand if we didn't have a Maker that gave it to us, right? That's not an earthly quality. It's not something that comes from down here. It's an eye for an eye down here, ever since the kings of Babylon. But if we do that, everyone's going to be blind, because we all sin, we all make mistakes, we all hurt each other. And if we just continually hurt each other, and that cycle never stops, I'm telling you, it's not good. Please go watch this. From one guy that does not like listening to women. I mean, I work with real estate has the most women. There's a lot of wonderful women, but I've always had this old-fashioned scorn and a little bit of anger towards women. It's probably from my mom telling me to pick up my socks and do my dishes when I was really young. But I'm telling you, this is the most powerful woman in the world, and she has it right, and she calls men on the carpet. She calls us out and tells us to do better. She's not putting anyone down. She's not telling anyone what they've done wrong or a certain lifestyle is wrong. She's just saying you can do better. And if you do better, you are a lot more likely to find the spouse that it wants to be on your team, and you to do better and find your equal and someone equally yoked. I think that's very powerful. So hopefully this recorded. I don't know if the audio recorded from this video or not, but hopefully it did. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. Thanks for listening. Again, I just want to say the reason why I'm putting these out is I've got to give context to the political posts that I make, and I really hope that family and friends will take the time to listen to this. It's very personal things about me, but I do feel called to share them. I feel like that is one of my gifts. Is I want to be relatable, and I want people to know I'm vulnerable, and I'm not capable of making the right decisions all the time, but that I'm here to help you make the right decisions. I've probably made the wrong decisions that I can help you avoid make. And I want you guys to do that. I want you guys to be fruitful, be prosperous, make money. I love making money. Haven't been making money for myself very often recently, but I'd sure like to help you guys make money. So if you have any issues or anything that you want to work on or build, please get in touch. Please share your similar stories in this. Words of encouragement are always really exciting to see. But also criticism is fine too. Like we talked about in the last episode, criticism can often lean into great relationships and bring in great relationships. So, yeah, get in touch. I'm calling for community. If you need help with something, I'm offering it. And maybe one day I'll figure out how to make a living doing this. But for now, there's my take on Erika Kirk's speech. It's very, very, very important that you listen to that. If you don't listen to me, if you already listened this far into the podcast, you've already listened to me. But go listen to it for yourself. That's one of the most powerful women right now, I think, in the world. And she has every right to have that power. And I think it's very admirable with what she's doing with it. Did an amazing job. Incredible memorial. Never seen anything like it. I heard the attendance was better than JFK or MLK. I read that it's 72,000 capacity in that arena. They took it to 80,000, and then they still had overflow in another stadium nearby. I'm hearing reports that there's as many as 200 to 300,000 people at this thing that showed up. Bigger than any Super Bowl that they've had there. Uber drivers are saying it was absolutely insane. And to see that much of the State Department, the presidential cabinet, congressmen, congresswomen, at at Charlie's memorial, incredible. My mom and I are both gasping like, this is not great to see. This is pretty spooky to see this many high-level officials at this event. But nothing happened. God bless. And I think the world's a lot better for it and seeing this. And I think it's really exciting to see what's going on in this country. I think it's really exciting to see where everyone's going with this. I think it's amazing how she took the lead on forgiveness and grace. It's up to the officials now to decide what they want to do. But that's how you win this game. You win on earth by getting as many people as you can, getting heaven as crowded as you can. Winning people to that side, to that end. That's the only thing that could possibly do this. That kind of a calling. There's no earthly calling, I think, that could have made this any more moving, any more powerful. God was in the building on this thing. It's insane. All right, see you guys in the next one. If I know how to stop it. Okay, I don't know how to stop it.
Because
What in the world?
he did it to remember important moments and sayings that affected him. And one of the things he wrote in his journal was this: every time you make a decision, it puts a mark on your soul. To those of you out there who just made that decision,